Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 60-minute love letter to loyal local sports we call the Ysn Power Hour, proudly powered by our friends at Toyota of Warren. DJ Yoakley back with you. Scotty Minter will join us here shortly, and we might have a surprise guest coming in and talking about some softball and some other stuff going on. Let me just break this down for you, okay? So the last 48 hours, last 24 hours, really incredible. You've had ups, you've had downs, you've had some of the best drama theater of the mind, because we've been audio broadcast only from the softball standpoint. You've had great finishes, you've had unbelievable heartbreaking finishes, and you've had the top of the mountain. All of it wrapped up in the last 24 hours. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to live sports. Nothing better. They're a great champion. I can't even do the Hake impression without having him on here. No such things as losers. Never been better. Like never before. Great champions. Let's start with the rough news, right? Let's start where our day started off yesterday. Anthony Hartwig, myself, Akron Firestone Stadium, and an absolute buzzsaw in Wheelersburg. What a great program they have. What a great program that the Wheelersburg Pirates softball team has. Anthony read off like the coach's win-loss record, and it was something like 213. 200 wins. And I think there's a plus on that, and 13 losses. And the idea going into the game and talking to Jeff DeRose on Wednesday night was keep it close. Keep it close, and we have a chance. Keep it close, and we feel like we have the upper hand. Keep it close, and we win the game. Wheelersburg said, They scored in the first 4 frames, and they scored, I want to say 5 runs in the first 5 or 6 runs, all 6 runs in the first 4 frames, I think is what they did. And they win that game, a final of 6-1 over the South Range Lady Raiders. What a season. What an incredible season. What an incredible campaign. What an incredible 4 years those seniors have had. You look at their freshman year is wiped out due to COVID. Their sophomore year, they go to the state championship. Junior year, a tough out in the program, and then their senior year, they go back to the state semifinals. I think if I'm playing, or if I'm getting my daughter signed up for softball, and you tell me outside of the freshman year with COVID, which is out of their control, if you look at that 3-year stretch and you can sign your daughter up or your son in any capacity to play, and they're going to go to the state championship, they're going to be a tough out the next year, and then they're going to be in the state semifinals the next year, I'm signing them up for that. Even though there could be, you're not winning the big one, you're not winning the one that you ultimately want to win, I'm signing them up for that. From that perspective, I'm signing them up. And what a career that would be. Because let's be honest, let's face it, and I'm not trying to hand out participation trophies here, but let's face it that the majority of us will never so much as sniff a state semifinal game. The majority of us are probably not winning district championships. The majority of us are not even close to winning regionals and being part of the Final Four. But the simple reality, and I'm on my way back from Akron last night, I'm trying to reason with myself as to why this loss in a state semifinal game would be so tragic. Because look at all the things that you've done. You won 26 games this year, Lady Raiders. 26 games against very good teams. We talk about the schedules that South Range and Canfield and Austintown Fitch had this entire year. There's a reason, folks, that they were in the Final Four. There's a reason that Canfield and Austintown Fitch, spoiler alert, are going to the state championship. We're going to talk about them just in a minute. But if you're South Range, you have nothing to hang your head about. Is it disappointing? Absolutely. Did you want more? Absolutely. But should you be frustrated? Should you be disappointed in what you've done, especially if you're one of those seniors? And I'm just going to put it out there that when you look at what is coming up, oh boy, you've got freshmen that took this year by the reins. And certainly I'm just going to put it out there. They're probably going to go and put the time in the weight room. Melissa Starkey runs an unbelievable weight program. And I'm not saying that, and I'm not guaranteeing that they're going to be back in the state semis next year, but that program, they'll be knocking on the door. They'll be knocking on the door for a long time because that is a program that is going to continue to sustain success because of what they believe in, and they're going to continue to pass the baton from year to year, from senior class to senior class. And they allow, and that's the biggest thing, that senior class allows success at the younger levels. They bring freshmen in, they bring sophomores and juniors and say, hey, listen, it's your time. If you can do it, go get it, which is incredible. We're going to bring in old Scotty Mitcher at this time, who joins us most Fridays. Scotty, that was in Dallas last week, unable to do the Power Hour. So welcome back to the show, my friend.
Thanks for having me, DJ. Sorry for being a little tardy, but like the Power Hour, it lines up almost perfectly. But sometimes nature calls, and then it's like, oh, what am I gonna do? But I'm glad I'm here. Better late than never, right?
You got it, buddy. Chris Sigler chiming in. He says, any athlete participating in baseball, softball, or track at this point in the season deserves an enormous amount of credit. And I couldn't agree more. We do have breaking news, right? Scotty, we were talking about the ebbs and flows of the last 24 hours as it's been on YSN and with our local teams. So we talked about the South Range loss. They end up losing 6-1 in the state semifinals. They're eliminated. Wheelersburg goes on and most likely will win a state championship tomorrow at 10 a.m. I don't think that there's anybody that's going to stop them. And unfortunately for South Range, they ran into the buzzsaw in the state semis instead of the state finals, where, it's just what it is. Sometimes you run into those teams. Then the next game, Scotty. I don't know if you caught any of the audio broadcast of the Canfield game, but we had 2 no-hitters going until like the 6th inning. It was ridiculous. You had Milena Toth, who was throwing a no-hitter, and Juliana King for Steubenville, who was throwing a no-hitter. And the game was going so fast. And then all of a sudden, Steubenville breaks up the no-hitter with a double. They get her over. They get her in. And it's a 1-0 game. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I can't believe that this game is going to end 1-0. And then we get to the bottom of the 7th inning. And Jenna Treveri starts the inning out. Hard grounder out. And she's put out. So there's 1 down. So Canfield is down to 2 outs in their season, and they're down by a run. And then you bring in 2 seniors who start things. Gianna Panunzio gets a soft liner over the pitcher and in front of the second baseman, and she's able to leg out a single, an infield single that starts it. And then you have Haley Freedy, who lines one into the outfield, puts Panunzio at second, Freedy's at first. So you've got not only the tying run in scoring position, but the go-ahead and winning run at first. Then they bring in the infield. Okay, so Steubenville brings the infield in, and the corners way in. So what Coach Kernan does, he sees that, and he says, we're going to steal third, we're going to steal second, and put the winning run in scoring position. Steubenville couldn't do anything about it. Okay, so that's the first pitch to Faith Morrell, is a stolen bag, double steal. Then there is the second pitch is a pass ball / wild pitch. Still has not been pointed to as which one it is, and it doesn't matter, right? So you have the runner at third scores, and you've got a tie game. So no matter what, we're going to extra innings at least. But it also puts the go-ahead and winning run at third base. So there's a timeout on the field. Coach Kernan talks to Faith Morrell. And basically, as Anthony's talking in my headset, something in my mind, something strategically, Coach Kernan is thinking, get this ball out of the infield, get it anywhere, right? The only thing you can't do right now is strike out. That's the only thing. That's the only no-no right now is you cannot strike out. Freedy's got wheels at third. So what do? And Scotty, I'm still getting chills at this point. They do a suicide squeeze to go to the state championship. The guts, the glory, the unbelievable story. Canfield with a suicide squeeze, your cleanup hitter, and Faith Morrell drops down a bunt on the right side. It somehow stays fair. Freedy scores with a headfirst slide. Canfield, with 2 outs remaining in their season, gets it done. That, my friend, that 100% will go down as the best game I have ever seen in a championship format. That was unbelievable. The Lady Cardinals never gave up, and the crowd was incredible. The turning point of the game was a double play inning ender in the top of the 7th that gave a jolt of lightning into that Canfield crowd, and it carried them. I'm convinced it carried them into the state championship. And then just moments ago, and coincidentally, this guy popping in, talking about Canfield, Ty Bartell, did an unbelievable job. Well, could you try again? Siri didn't get that, so I'll try it again later. I will say this. Ty did an unbelievable job of calling the Austintown Fitch game. And if you haven't had a chance to listen to it, I'm going to throw a spoiler up. They won. Okay. 3-0, the final score. Sydney Watts with a dirty dozen for the Dirty Birds and able to really lift her team defensively into the state championship. Ayla Ray did what Ayla Ray does, and it's incredible to see all of this happen. No hitter, by the way, for Sid. Thank you, Ty. Appreciate that. It really is. It's great to see. So go back, and I'm still trying to digest what just happened. We have 2 teams. 2 out of the 3 teams that were vying for a state championship are still vying for a state championship. Really sucks that South Range wasn't a part of that. But D3, as we knew, we were going to have the toughest route to get there. D3 was an absolute gauntlet from the time it started till the time it ends. And unfortunately for South Range, they just came, again, to a buzzsaw. And they were a buzzsaw themselves the entire time. Couldn't keep that game close, and unfortunately couldn't cash in moments that they had an opportunity to. Canfield willed their way to the state championship, and Fitch dominated their way to the state championship. You look at this, 3 different stories for 3 different teams, and the only reason that South Range girls and South Range community is going to be frustrated and I wouldn't say upset and shouldn't be disappointed. It was because the expectation, Scotty, of a championship is there in all of their programs, not just one. And I think that should be celebrated, is the fact that our teams are not celebrating lower level championships. They're disappointed if they don't win state. Do you understand how high those expectations are for a team in any capacity, in any division, whatever it may be? If you don't win state, it's a disappointing season. What does that say about a team, Scotty? If you don't win the big one, it's a rough season.
That's man, what a bar that is. But it says that there's a culture there that uh, it's not so much I think they go out wanting to win. It's more when they every time they go out, it's an expectation like we're gonna win this game. So when they don't, obviously, you know, people aren't elated. But I think you made a good point, DJ, earlier when you were talking, and we were talking about this a few weeks ago. I was having a conversation with you about this. Is that you're not big on handing out partition patient trophies and things like that. But I do think you made a very astute point a couple weeks ago, and I wholeheartedly agree with you that once you get to a certain level and it's the elite against the elite, if you drop one having a chance to go on and win the whole thing, that's different. That's something to hang your hat on. It's nothing to um, just overlook. So South Range, because they've been so successful now, I think since 2016, this was their third trip in in softball, and winning the state title in football because they've been so successful in so many programs. The bar and the expectations have risen, but it doesn't mean that they can't be extremely proud and hang their hat on a tremendous season. Like you said, DJ, sometimes you just run into a buzzsaw. So I mean, it's nothing to be ashamed of at all.
Gino Luceni saying "Go Rockets" and "Go Anthony" today at State for track, and that's another thing we want to wish everybody that's competing for a state title in track and field. We wish them all the best. One of those things. And if you haven't had a chance to go check out ysnlive.com, Chris Sigler did an unbelievable, really, really poignant article on with links and everything. All you got to do is go there and check it out and see who's competing, when they're competing, and how to follow them. I really thought that was well done. And kudos to Siggy for being able to put that out there, put that together when he understands that, baseball and diamond sports and softball, very easy for us to do because statistics are always reported or usually reported. And track and field is different, not always reported. And it's a little bit tougher to post results from that and do things of that nature. So kudos to Chris Sigler for allowing us to have a little bit of a taste of what's going on for state and get people prepared and get people excited for it. Best of luck to all of our track athletes and field athletes at down in Columbus. So the other thing,
I did.
go ahead.
I did. If I can, DJ, I did see that story posted, and I have a question specifically for you off that. I was just wondering about this. You talked about how maybe track and field doesn't quite get the just due that the team sports do. But do you think, in a way, DJ, if these athletes, especially at all the different schools, the 30 plus YS and schools, if they come home with some hardware, they're wearing that medal around their neck. Do you think in any way it would be not maybe more gratifying than a team win, but knowing that people themselves set out their own personal goals, and everyone's their hardest critic. I myself, like when I'm doing therapy, even when people say I did good, I always think I could do better. So do you think when you do get that as an individual, and it's just you being presented an award, that at times it could feel even better than sometimes winning a team thing, if you weren't like somebody that was a superstar on a certain team?
I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. I think at least the way my mind works, and the majority of people that I've been able to kind of rub elbows with, there's something about winning a team championship because you can share those moments for the rest of your life with those people that all kind of put their hand in the pile. Does that make sense? And I think a
Yeah.
like a championship that it's just you, right? Whether it's state or regional or district or whatever it may be. When you look at golf, when you look at track and field, bowling, you can look at some of these kind of solo sports, if you will. I mean, it's great because they're celebrating you, but you know, people are often put off, and there's not as much of a following because it's just one person. Now, when one person represents a school, the whole school kind of gets behind them, but it's still like not celebrated as much as when you have 50 some football players or 20 volleyball players or 20 softball, 20 baseball, all of that stuff, basketball, all of that. I still think that team championships are celebrated by far more than single championships because there's more people to celebrate it. If that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get it. I just wanted, um, your take on that. You've been around, not just with YSN since 2017, but before that, your days playing. I always like to get somebody's take that actually like played team sports and was part of a team. And I know you talk about a lot about your days when you were a catcher playing baseball. So yeah, I get that, because you have more people to kind of enjoy the moment with, that you think it makes it more special. But I do think I will say that I agree with you that Chris did a good job with that. I was reading that this morning actually, and it's just very interesting because uh, part of me, like, I think my ego, especially when I was younger in high school, if I was, somebody gifted with the ability to be really good at track and field, and I want something like it might get to my head. Like I might be, you know, feeling myself for a little while, feeling good. But I still don't think it would top winning something as a team. So I do agree with you there.
Yeah, I just feel like, and even to this day, I was part of the 2005 Westminster Titan Pac Championship baseball, first ever Pac Championship in baseball history for the Titans. And even still today, there's friendships that will never be broken. There's bonds that'll never be touched because when you kind of cross paths with these people, you have that season, you have that moment, you have everybody worked for the common goal and everybody won, right? Where for me, it would be fulfilling, don't get me wrong, to win a championship. I'm not trying to take anything away for a singles championship, but like when you're sitting around, 10 years later and you're sitting around and you guys are talking about it, and you all have stories about what it was like to get to that championship, and by then they're probably big fishtails. And if you don't have anybody else around you other than your folks or your siblings or whatever that kind of saw the sacrifice that you made and sacrifices that they made, it can be a tough thing later on, and a lot of times I think that they get swept under the rug. And I was presented a unique opportunity my senior year in high school. It was my coach saying, you can either be the MVP and we'll give you a trophy, or you can go experience playing at Jacobs Field, and go have some fun. And I think he knew the answer to what I was going to do, and it was a no brainer for me. Is, listen, I don't care if you ever call me an MVP. I want to go experience playing at Jacobs Field in an All-Star game, and just have that for the rest of my life. Anytime we go to the Progressive Field now, but Jacobs Field back then, every time we go there, I played there, and I played that position and that position and that position. Greg Rigno, who was the Crestview coach at the time, gave me a really great opportunity to play multiple positions during the game. And one of my favorite pictures that I have is playing left field. And I think that the experience, right? I got to meet a lot of guys who I played against but never played with. One of my good friends ended up being my wedding, from Crestview, and having that experience together outweighs any glorification of a trophy that you may win that identifies you among anybody else, at least to me. And like, that trophy would just be collecting dust at this point if it was still around. But those memories I will have forever. And every time I cross paths with a Dean Stokes or a Jimmy Neild, we have a toddy and we talk about it. So I think that there's something to this. I hope, and we're going to talk about baseball here in a second. When you talk about Warren JFK, when you talk about South Range, two teams that are still in it, and they play today on quick turnaround, I hope no matter what happens, and speaking to the South Range softball team, the Austintown Fitch softball team, the Canfield softball team, whatever happens, win, lose, or draw, hopefully no more draws, Fitch and Canfield, hopefully they're able to take experiences from this season that they can have the rest of their lives, and they can talk about and celebrate and, pass along to their kids someday. Because championships don't always end up, crazy enough, with trophies. Sometimes you win championships just by getting those friends. And I know I'm starting to sound like participation trophy guy, but having those stories, working through problems, through adversities with those people, those special people in your life, whether it be baseball, softball, track, field, basketball, name the sport, it's just a variable. I think it's a very special thing to have this kind of run. And I love team championships. I love them. And I can't imagine my life without a couple of them, in the back pocket.
So was that when you played at the Jake? Was that 2003? Your
Yeah, 2003.
senior
I played at the Jake. Yep.
Okay,
The
that's
the
awesome. I never knew that.
I can't remember the name of the game. The OHS BCA All-Star game, I think, something like that.
That's awesome, man.
Ohio High School Baseball Coaches Association. That's what it was. All-Star game. Yeah, it was great. It was really cool. And then, like a week or two later, before I left for college, I got to go out and try out for the Pirates with one of my good buddies, Rich McNeil, who is a teal Tomcat. And as I was heading to Ohio Northern, as I started my career in college and ended up ultimately at Westminster, he said, "Hey, we need to go to this. We got the invites. We go in." So I got to play on Jacobs Field and PNC Park in the same month, which to any version of myself was awesome. And I will never forget that as long as I live.
That's great stuff, man. But I'm pretty sure I told you my dad, he you went to Ohio Northern. I forgot that's where you got your start, but that's where my dad went for
He's a
pharmacy
pharmacist. Yeah,
school.
all the pharmacists go to Ohio Northern. I was wondering what the hell I was doing there for a while because I'm looking around, everybody's getting these white coats, and I'm just trying to get by in these classes with all these smart people, these pharmacists. So I was kind of a fish out of water at Ohio Northern, to be honest with you, and 3 hours away from home, and the I think at the time when I went, it was the furthest college from a McDonald's at like 52 miles.
Yeah,
So
my dad always tells me stories how there was absolutely nothing to do, like middle of nowhere.
it,
Like,
it's the classic, like you go there for a day and it's the most wonderful place because it is in the middle of nowhere. You feel like you're secluded from everything, which in some cases you want to be. And they should make you spend a week there, right? And nothing against Ohio Northern, but if like you feel like you're on another planet, you really do, because after a while there's nothing to do but study, which is what they want you to do ultimately, and just hang out on campus. Which, by the way, in the winter, it is the coldest. They call it the tundra, right in the middle, because there's no trees, no nothing to block the wind. And it is a miserable, miserable walk from one end of campus to the other. So for anybody going to Ohio Northern, dress warm in the winter.
well, I wish my dad, and I know if he's listening right now, he'd probably say I'm being bullish, but he's much smarter than I am. He actually, DJ, he had his state boards like the day after the Super Bowl, the one when Cincinnati played the 49ers. I think Joe Montana led the Niners on like a game winning drive with under 2 minutes left. And he said he watched the Super Bowl, didn't study at all, and he still passed. So that's a smart dude. But
That's your
you're
dad is
you're
smart,
pretty
except for
smart
his
too, DJ.
well, no, your dad's way smarter than I am, except for the teams that he roots for. Um, Sam chiming in says, "Sign me up." Yeah, Sam, if it is above 6 degrees, I'm pretty sure is breaking a sweat. Signed up to go to Dallas. He did not like the heat down in the Lone Star State at all. I loved it. I was this 90 or whatever 89 degrees that we have, Scotty, today. I'm loving it. Cannot wait to go get a little workout in, get a sweat on, and I know Sam is probably chilling in the basement and got the AC and 6 fans on him at this point, just trying to stay cool as he works through this heat wave he's going through right now. We got to take a break. We come back. We'll have Scotty's topics. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about, Scotty, on this Friday as we wrap up the work week and we head into some championship baseball and softball this weekend here on the network. Back after this on the Ysn Power Hour, powered by Toyota of Warren.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren, driven by you.
Hi, this is Zell Bush.
Hi, this is Tom Flynn.
Hi, this is Steve Rossetto.
Hi, this is Ryan Miller.
Hi, this is Rich Sakui from WRS Wealth Advisors.
With our combined 80 years of experience, WRS Wealth Advisors are the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists.
Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services.
Or visit WRSwealth.com.
Go Raiders.
Go Dogs.
Go Cats.
Go Dogs. Go Tigers.
Jimmy Sudman here, director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and two of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
Reliability, innovation, scale. These three values are those we look forward to in our business and in our team. If you're ready for a reliable employer who looks constantly to think outside the box in big ways, we're ready for you. Apply now. Help us push the envelope and deliver success. Envelope 1. Take that one extra step.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Yoakley, Scotty Mincher with you. And Scotty, just to recap, we've got Canfield, Lady Cardinals, going to the state championship tomorrow, 12:30. That game will be here on YSN, the audio broadcast. And then following that, 3 o'clock, the Austintown Fitch Lady Falcons heading to the state championship as well. And a big win today, a 3-0 victory and a dominant no-hitter for Sydney Watts. And then you have tonight Warren JFK looking for to punch their ticket to the regional championship tonight. And then South Range looking for a regional championship tonight as well. Best of luck to those teams. Hoban dropping out yesterday in a devastating blow to our baseball lineup, because I really thought Hoban had a really good shot of taking the title if they made it past yesterday. And unfortunately, they just couldn't muster up the runs. They lost, I think, 5-1 was the final score. You can check it out, ysnlive.com/score. But, we're talking about like championships and what it's made out of. But you look at all the greatness that has happened. I'm so proud. Like I was bummed that South Range lost. I was excited for Canfield. I was nervous for Austintown Fitch as I'm driving home last night. And I was still nervous for Fitch. And I got all the reports as obviously I couldn't be two places at once. So our great team was able to get out, call the South Range extra inning game over Lakeview. Congratulations to Lakeview on a great year. First ever time that they've ever been able to win the NE8. First ever time they've been able to win a district championship and fall short of a chance for the regional title. But South Range, I mean, who would have guessed it? This is a South Range team that you look at them and they are made up and this is going to be crazy to some people, crazy eerily similar to the 2018 team. A team that has a lot of talent, but you look at them and you go, yeah, but the road ahead does not favor them. And these guys just cowboy up. They don't care. Skirpack ends up, going up against a team, Lakeview, that has beaten South Range twice this season. And South Range gets their ultimate revenge in the regionals in Massillon, where they've won before on the road to a state championship. And now they have a chance to win a regional championship, punch their ticket for Canal Park in Akron tonight. And I hope everybody watches. I really do. And if you can't watch, go there. Go to Massillon. Go to this game. Going to be an exciting game. Support South Range. And most importantly, support our teams. Warren JFK in the same boat. Go support them. Go support our teams tomorrow at Akron Firestone Stadium, at the Canfield and Fitch playing back-to-back games. Get out there and support it. Make it a home game for these teams. I'm telling you, the atmosphere was electric yesterday. I can't imagine what it's going to be like tomorrow. I cannot imagine what it's going to, and be part of that, because we talked about it before, Scotty, that PNC Park wild card game, the atmosphere. I had a chance to go to that game and I didn't. And I regret it to this day. Not so much the game. The game was great, but the atmosphere. Imagine what that atmosphere will be like tomorrow when you have Canfield and Austintown, and I'm willing to bet there's going to be a lot of Austintown folks that are going to go early and a lot of Canfield folks that are going to stay late. That atmosphere is going to be one of a kind. One of a kind. And if South Range can punch their ticket, and if Warren JFK can punch their ticket, what that is going to be like at Canal Park next week. Unbelievable. We are so blessed and fortunate to have these teams in state championship caliber sports. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Cannot wait for tomorrow. Cannot wait for tomorrow. Can't wait for tonight to watch South Range and JFK win. Can't wait to hear about these state champion student athletes down in Columbus doing their thing and celebrate them as they come back. I'm excited, Scotty. I can't hold it back anymore.
DJ, I was just wondering when you, like, if we could turn the clock back a little bit to when you first got the idea to start YSN, and it was something you were passionate about and wanting it to do, and then looking at it now, is this ultimately what you were, did you feel like some of this could happen, or has it kind of blown you away in some ways with all these schools now that you have, and so many of them being competitive? Like, did you envision this when you first started it up, or was it just like you really didn't know what to expect?
Yeah, I guess you just don't know what to expect. The reason and I've said this a billion times, so you can take whatever clippings you want, and they should pretty much add up. When we started this was all about, and still is all about, raising up the level of the student athlete and being noticed, right? And showing love for high school sports and amateur sports in general here at the local, regional, and state level. And it is morphed into, us paying a lot of money for state playoffs. And while that's okay, right? I'm happy to shell out money and invest money in our student athletes when we can and when we should. And that's the biggest thing. Is I'm so happy for these kids and so happy for these student athletes and so happy for these people who would never have a chance to see some of the names and lights that they see without us. And I'm not patting us on the back. I'm just telling you why we started it. Didn't know that it would take off like it did. And I'm grateful every day. And again, very blessed and humbled at what we've been able to build and the people that have supported us along the way. You look at our sponsors. I mean, you look at with a Toyota of Warren, and you look at the one above my head here, and it just rotates. And that was part of the thing that I was watching yesterday. And I had a conversation with Ann Myers of Myers Family Insurance, who was one of our first advertisers. And we were standing outside of the brand new studio at Athletics that is opening soon. And the amount of pride that she had in what we've been able to do and understanding why we've done it, understanding that it has very little to do with me, has very little to do, Scotty, with you or anybody that necessarily, grabs a mic for YSN. While it's a great opportunity, and stepping stone for some, and some lifelong dreams are coming true, for everybody else, we're doing it for them. We're doing it for grandma in upstate New York. We're doing it for, the mom or dad that can't be two places at once, and one kid's at a choir concert, the other kid's at a soccer game. We're doing it for the student athlete who is getting no help in recruitment, but gets a player profile, and all of a sudden they've got two recruiters talking to them. That's why we do it. The championship element is just icing on the cake. And while it's awesome to me, and it's some delicious icing, it's just so cool to see how this continues to transform before our very eyes. And the biggest thing, Scotty, is sometimes you just got to let go of the wheel and let the car drive itself. Not good advice in an actual car, but when you're doing a business, sometimes that's what you let go and you let God, and that's what we've been able to do. And I had a moment yesterday where I was just absolutely beside myself and kind of out of body experience watching Canfield celebrate that championship and looking around and thinking to myself, if we weren't here, who would be? And that's when it hit me that we are where we're supposed to be.
That's wow. I mean, it's something that, like you said, it's not even for. I mean, I do it because I do love it, but what I've come to love even more in my time being on shows with you, where you've done interviews and shows with Anthony, and we doing interviews and just giving people that are younger, giving them that voice and just hearing what they have to say. It really does make me smile, and I've grown fonder and fonder of sports, all sports really on the local level. It's something that really every week I feel like my drive increases, just not to necessarily, like, I don't care about being in the spotlight and getting credit for things, but I just want to be able to be on the show and somebody watching and be able to take something good from it, at least one positive. And that's what I have been striving to do, and you and a bunch of people have helped me get there along the way in the few years I've been with YSN now as well. I wanted, if it was okay, DJ, in the last 10 minutes we got here, could we talk a little bit of scrappers?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, I just wanted your thoughts on. I listened to the game, a good part of the game last night, and Ty's call against West Virginia, and it was a great first victory, come from behind, win 7-4 victory for the Scrappers. This being their 25, what has you most excited? It's the their 25th season, but a few years ago, there was questions of, would the Scrappers were they even gonna be a thing anymore? What was gonna happen to minor league baseball? So what's it like turning to 2023 and year 25 for the Scrappers? What does it mean to you in this is year 3, I believe, since YSN's been the home of the Scrappers. This is year number 3. What have you gotten most out of these last, not so much the 25 years, but these last 3, with YSN being able to be the voice of the Scrappers? And do you have a memory, a favorite memory of Scrapper baseball, not just these last 3 years, but going back to even before we covered them at YSN?
I'll start with a favorite memory, and it was in '99, I believe, or shortly thereafter, where I was a freshman 8th grader, freshman, somewhere around there. And the Scrappers were new. One of my good friends, my mom took us to a Scrappers game, and the ability to be close to the players is something that I really cherish, not only then, but now. With the Scrappers, and it's an opportunity in minor league baseball and in the MLB draft league to meet players and to have conversations with them. And I remember hanging out outside of the clubhouse door after the game, and it was a day game, and getting autographs from a lot of guys and waiting and waiting and waiting for this guy named Victor Martinez, who the only reason I liked him was because he was a catcher and I was a catcher. And, you know, with catchers, you don't always know what they look like because they're wearing the tools of ignorance. And I remember asking, is Victor still in the locker room? Is Victor still in the locker room? And I've got a baseball that is signed by 30 guys. And the last autograph I got was a guy named Victor Martinez. That guy is, to me, a surefire Hall of Famer, not for what he did on the baseball field, but because he was a big leaguer when he was with us. He really was. He knew he was on a straight track right to Cleveland, and he took time out and he talked with me. And I remember swapping stories, just questions and answers with Victor Martinez about catching. And and most people will tell you, keep your chin up, kid. He said, keep your chin down. And I understood what he meant, because when you're blocking, when the ball's in the dirt, you keep your chin down, because if that thing bounces up and hits you in the neck, you're in trouble. Hits you in the throat, whatever, you're in trouble. So, one of the last things he said was, keep your chin down, kid. And I remembered that, and I'll remember it forever. So at my house, I have an autographed ball by a lot of Scrappers, but I turned it in such a way that Victor Martinez is the one that's most prominent. In regards to the YSN side of things, I still kind of get emotional when I think about it, is the moment that Jordan and I sat down with Heather, interestingly enough, and we said, this is a perfect fit. The Scrappers are hyper local. The Scrappers care about the community in so many ways. You look at all the things that they do outside of baseball, and with partners, the Rich Center for Autism, they do autism night, things like that, right? That means so much to this community that they can support other brands and other organizations through what they do, which is sports, which is baseball. And they saw YSN was doing the same thing, right? Had a conversation today with a young man, and everybody wants to work in sports. Everybody loves sports. The vast majority of people, I shouldn't say everybody loves sports. It's hard to get a job in sports. It's very, very challenging to get a job in sports, because everybody wants it. Everybody wants to watch sports. When we signed the deal with the Scrappers, that was two tribes, two families that have the same goal, and that's for this valley to be represented in sports, but having sports representing this valley and carrying this valley in this area. And when the first time the Scrappers appeared on YSN, I can't tell you the pride that I had, because as a Scrapper fan, from the time they arrived in 1999 and getting Christmas presents under my tree in 1998, a Scrappers hat and a Scrappers shirt and all of that stuff, to the day where right now over my shoulder, I've got a Scrappers uniform and a Scrappy foam head. I'm a fan, man. And I think that's the thing that most people don't understand about people at YSN. Not everybody, and really all of us outside of, well, even if you count me, I've never been a professional, announcer, really. But we're all fans. We love what we do because we love who we do it for. You look at Ty Bartell, who just announced that Fitch semifinal game and had his first Scrappers game last night. You look at Richie Juliana. You look at Anthony Hartwig. You look at Chris Sigler. Chris, I can promise you, none of those guys do it for the paycheck. They do it for the way that it makes them feel. They do it because they're fans. They're a fan of sports. They're a fan of student athletes. They're a fan of athletes. They're a fan of these teams, these programs, and these communities. What makes me most proud, Scotty, in a long answer to a short question, is that we have enough people that are fans of the Scrappers, that are fans of YSN, that they're willing to give one or the other a try, and they stick around to see what's next. That's what I love about what we have with the Scrappers. It's a bond that really should never be broken.
That's something, I mean, me and you have talked a lot about sports and what it means to us. And that's something that I have told you a few times, that one of my pet peeves, and I realized, like, yes, are there things more important? Sure, there are. Like, the health of your family and your great friends and everything like that. But sports to me has always been that. It just kind of has made me go. I used to watch Popeye as a kid, little kid, so it's always been my spinach has been sports. So I get what you mean, DJ, for sure. It definitely. If I didn't have sports, man, I'd be lost searching. So I'm just I try to, as hard as it is at times, I try to take at least one good thing out of every day. And usually sports, helps me get there. Um, don't know if the Browns will ever win that Super Bowl, but I can say that they're going to. The clock is ticking.
It is ticking on you, buddy. I'm collecting on that one. There's no doubt about that. Hey, you want to get sparky with it?
Yeah, let's
All right, here
do it.
we go. The Joe Dickey Electric Spark, brought to you by our friends at Joe Dickey Electric. Anything commercial, residential, industrial, anything electrical, anything that goes bzzzt, you need to head over to dickeyelectric.com. Scotty, what is your spark on this beautiful and glorious Friday?
My spark is I really I was thinking about this a lot today, and you said beautiful and glorious, and it's part of my spark that it's just a great season. We've talked a lot about how crazy everyone gets during football season, and how football, it's kind of been the king of the throne in this area. But this time of year, when you have so much going on, you have these great teams. You mentioned them earlier. South Range, Canfield, Warren, JFK, all these teams vying for great things to be the best. You have so much you could go to and watch right now. The Scrappers opening up their 25th season. Yeah, it's like, I guess my spark is, yeah, football is great, but I've really just been enjoying the now, and I'm so happy for Austin Town Fitch and for Canfield and those communities. And I just want to say that I definitely want to get out to a Scrappers game. I'm definitely gonna catch the local action on YSN. Definitely want to get out to Eastwood Field. It's long overdue, and the Scrappers starting the season with the win. I'm stoked about it. So that's my spark. Just this, people always talk about football, but I think sometimes the other sports get overshadowed, and that's my spark today, despite Radar's.
Oh, I was just gonna get to that. Radar, his spark. Let's put that up again. Radar says Omaha next Thursday night, June 8th, the 37th annual Jack Arvin Classic, featuring the area high school football seniors at Canfield High School in 11 weeks. The first audible call of 2023. I talked to Mike Ackelson. This is part of my spark, is a guy that I can always lean on for advice, a guy that I could always call and he'll answer first ring usually. Mike Ackelson, a guy that I've looked up to for a long time and tried to keep me and get me back in this business. Was a supporter of YSN since the day we started. Called Mike today and he goes, I know you're not ready to talk football. I'm not. It is a crime here in this area to not want to talk football. And Sam Torres right now is laughing hysterically because is it bad that I just want to soak up baseball and softball right now and track and field? I just want to soak it all in because to me, this is the best part of the year. This is really our spring. Technically, I mean, it really is spring, but it's our spring, and I just like being in spring for the moment. I like being there because then we'll go to summer, we'll go to Scene, we'll go to the Field of Dreams, we'll do a couple odds and ends. We have a tournament coming up here on the 15th, I believe, at South Range with some of the amateur, the younger kids, and we're excited for that. I just want to be in the moment. I just want to be there instead of looking 11 weeks down the line to a 16-week season that lasts forever and just is an absolute monster. It's a 4-month season. That's what it is. So, with all due respect to football, and I respect it a lot, it's fun. I just want to enjoy the now. I want to enjoy some diamond sports. I want to enjoy baseball and softball championships. I want to enjoy all these athletes coming back with track and field. Heaven forbid we take a season off from talking about football. That's one of the rare things that we do that other people can't. And I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it. That is the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark presented by Joe Dickey Electric. Visit them today at DickeyElectric.com. Scotty, wrap it up. What else you got?
I was just gonna say, DJ, we've talked about it. I think me and you have agreed on this, that like baseball, for example, when it's played right, it's hard to beat, especially if you're there live. And that was my whole point. I love football. I'm, a fanatic. I enjoy the audible call has been, fabulous, great experience, like a frat party. But I don't want to.
Maybe to you.
To me, it is. Yeah, I know it's not quite that to you. You have to take a little more Tylenol maybe during the season.
There's a lot of Advil that goes in.
But yeah, I just wanted to say again, I know we're going over the time, but I'm just enjoying this time now here too. And when football gets here, it gets here, but we need to give these other sports their just due.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, brother. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this Friday edition of the YSN Power Hour, powered by Toyota of Warren. Thanks to our sponsors. Thanks to everybody for watching. Like, comment, share. We appreciate that and the engagement that you give to us each and every day. For Scotty Mincher, I'm DJ Yoakley. That's going to do it for the weekend. Good luck to all the teams in the championships. Make sure you stick on ysnlive.com for all the updated scores, the broadcasts, and, of course, the unbelievable interviews following championships here this weekend. God bless you. We'll see you on Monday right here on the YSN Power Hour, powered by Toyota of Warren. See you.
It means the world.
YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of Your Sports Network.